Welcome to another episode of Bets, Cards, and Jesus. My name is Chris Gromas. I'm the founder of Davis Sword Ministries. I'm super stoked that you guys are back checking out part 2 of Ken's story. But before we get into that, I want you guys to know that if you watch all the way through, at the very end, we have a very special way that you can partner with us to help veterans in need. So guys, sit back, hang out, and I can't wait for you guys to watch it. Let's do this. Do you think like during that time, coming out of it now, do you think that like increased your faith as far as like?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because you see God at work in ways that you would have never envisioned otherwise. You're put into incredible circumstances that test your faith, for one, and then being grateful that you even came out of it alive. You saw how God worked firsthand in numerous situations. Whether it's actual combat or sometimes it's just watching people suffer because their wife left them at home and all of a sudden they came home and found out and they can't go anywhere and they're struggling personally. That's a great moment to minister to people like that, or just struggling personally. It doesn't have to be something as sensational as combat. There are a lot of hardships that people experience over there. Just being away from your family is one of many.
I think that's the part that a lot of people don't realize, is because I've counseled a couple guys that have gone through stuff like that with wives cheating on wives, leaving them, wives, family members dying, friends just leaving or dying. But there's not a whole lot you can do when you're like thousands and thousands of miles away.
No, and I was no different. I had 5 post 9/11 deployments, and after the third one, I was divorced myself.
Oh man!
And then right as the divorce was over, I got sent right back down the range again, back to Afghanistan. So now I'm divorced, missing my kids anyway because I didn't get to see them, and now I get sent down range, and I had a hard time even getting through to talk to the kids. That just adds an extra layer of complexity, suffering, hardship on an already difficult deployment.
It's probably those moments too, because like you're saying, like you have a lot of downtime, so it just kind of just.
Oh yeah, the downtime is the worst because then you got nothing but time to think about it, and regret the decisions that you made, that mistakes that that led up to that, or just missing your kids and you just wish that you could talk to them and wonder how they're doing, and now you have even less access to them than you did before. And oh, by the way, you're in charge of 10 guys because you're the N2IC, and you've got to keep your chin up and act like nothing's wrong. And oh, by the way, somebody's shooting at you as well. I mean, there's that.
Just a little inconvenience at that moment.
So there are times to minister, and sometimes there's times that people minister to you as well when you're over there. The great thing about having faith over there is that we all watch out for each other. I mean, you'll hear soldiers talk about it a lot. It wasn't about the bigger picture a lot of times. It was about the soldier to my left and to my right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of truth to that, because even when you're just sitting back in your tent or back at your cheap little wooden bee hut, which is no better than a doghouse, sitting there during some of that arduous downtime, your friends around you will pick up on the fact that you're just not yourself that day, and they'll check in on you.
That's awesome.
And if they're a faithful friend, they'll sit and they'll pray with you, or they'll ask to pray with you. That's moments that I've had to pray with others. Sometimes they've come to pray with me, especially after that 4th deployment when I went back down range again. I had all that going on, as well as I just had some hate mail coming in, was just incredibly difficult for me at that time. And so, even being a faithful follower of Christ at that point, that was such a low point for me that I had to let others kind of be there for me at that point. I wasn't the one that was praying with others at that point. Others were praying with me because I couldn't, I just kind of reached that breaking point.
Here's a question. So if you could tell yourself one thing right now, or tell yourself something when you first started, versus like with what you know now, what do you think that would be?
When I first started in the military?
Yeah,
or?
like starting the military, like the one thing you wish you would have known, or you wish somebody would have told you. Or...
Oh man, I've never thought about this. I might have to think about this one. I guess I would have told 18-year-old me, stand firm in your faith. You're going to be challenged, but don't lose hope. God is still the same God, now and forever. And you're going to do great things, but you're also going to be blessed as well. So don't deny that blessing that others want to give you as well, because there's going to be some highs and there's going to be some lows. Don't always feel like you have to be the one to be there for everybody else. Allow them to be there for you as well.
That's good. Speak good advice all the way around. Now you're building a bonza with your son. You're building that relationship up.
Yeah.
How is that like? And now you're doing the YouTube, like, which it's Spider Garage, correct?
Yeah.
I always want to make sure. But no, that's really awesome. You're giving back in that thing, and I know, like with that, you're probably having a little bit of influence, both in the car community, but also just the lifestyle you lead as well.
Well, that was not part of the plan. I'll tell you that right off the bat. I only started the channel initially on a dare from a friend, Emily Reeves from Flying Sparks Garage. She dared me to do it. And when you dare a military guy, it's like threatening them with a good time. You're like, hey, don't threaten me with a good time. So I did it. I threw that first episode out there pretty quickly, and I stuck with it. We made a lot of mistakes, but I never really did it for the viewership anyway. I thought, well, the side benefit is, and I always harped on this a little bit from my time in the garage with my own dad when I was a teenager building my car, is that I really wished I had more pictures. Social media obviously wasn't a thing when I was a teenager, but even just getting pictures developed, digital cameras weren't a thing. You had to, take a picture with your 110 camera.
And then wait 3 to 5 days.
And then take it to Kmart, and if you had 2 for Tuesdays, you got a second set of, film on, Tuesdays. You had to wait a week for it to come back. We just didn't take that many pictures back then. And I wished I had more, and I still have the memories, and I, that's not been lost on me, but I thought it would be really cool to have, with this current technology, such that it is, to give Nathaniel some more memories of our time together. And it just is, it's undivided attention. The point of the thing was never to build the car in any way. The point was to spend time together. So it was a win-win all the way around. It was a dare, but when I thought about it, I thought, well, hey, this is one-on-one time with my son. It preserves a lot of those memories that I wish I'd been able to preserve with my own dad. And but the side benefit, or the unexpected bonus of it, is that it's gained a decent following, not a great one, but enough of a following that if I had a nickel for every time somebody said, hey, you really inspired me to get back out in the garage and do something with my son or my daughter, I could afford a new car. The blessings that I got back from that I wasn't counting on have come back tenfold. And so we still do it. I'm not much of I'm a pretty private person, so it's always difficult for me anyway to do this. People think I'm an extrovert, I'm really not. And Nathaniel, can take it or leave it. He's gotten used to being behind the camera now. He realizes that doing this has afforded him a lot of new friends and fun experiences that we've been able to do together because of the YouTube channel. But beyond that, he's just grown as a young man. It's put him in situations that he wouldn't have otherwise experienced had he not been forced to deal with it or put in front of other car friends he's never met before, or had to rebuild that motor he's never done before, and then driving 4,000 miles and hope that it stays together. You know, there's just been a plethora of things he's learned from that, personally and skill-wise as well, that we just decided, well, I guess we'll just keep doing it, because it really has benefited him personally, and apparently the story has resonated with a lot of other people as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, just the fact that you're doing it with them. My big wish is like more dads would actually do that, take the time to have something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be cars, it could be anything, you know?
Yeah, I know. And I've got 5 kids. Nathaniel's my 5th kid, and so obviously, you know, I never pushed the cars on him, and as you can tell, the first 4 never really took, you know, didn't have much of an interest in it, but Nathaniel did, and so it didn't matter whether it was cars or not. I always did something with each of my kids that, you know, they took an interest in, and it just happened to be cars with him, so it works out well for me, because that was always my passion when I grew up.
Yeah, especially be able to share that. So it's like, I've seen so many, like a couple of my buddies back home, like my dad wasn't around a whole lot. He was a truck driver, so he was gone for days and weeks at times. So it was just like, when he was home, it was cool to do that, but just to have that memory, like you're saying, like we should have those pictures and stuff like that, but just the moments that you got to spend, or I got to spend with my dad, I know a lot of other people probably feel the same way, was just amazing and awesome. But now the day we live in, like, you get to have the videos and everything else, and it's there forever, unless the internet somehow gets destroyed. But it's there forever, and it's like, even in 20 years from now, there's gonna be a way to find it. Hopefully, like I said,
hey,
it's part of the
forever, they say, yeah.
So I mean, and like the real fact that, you know, he has kids, he's like, hey, check this out, you know, like when they grow up, it's like, this is what we used to do. Hopefully, it's instilling like a tradition almost.
Well, yeah, I hope so. The one thing that I told Nathaniel, because I'll be honest, there were a few times early on, we've been doing this for what, just over 3 years now. There were a couple times early on, he just wanted out. He just wanted to quit. And I could have gone down that path, but I kind of stuck with it and said, look, buddy, I know you're not a big fan of being on camera. I'm not going to make you talk. I'm not going to make you, you know, say anything. We're just going to do our thing. I promise that it's just going to be us doing it the way we would have normally done it anyway. It just happens to be a camera filming us. And I said, but beyond that, I said, I guarantee you, in 20 years, you're going to love looking back on this. I said, you don't think that right now, but when you're my age or even younger, I said, you're going to be glad that we did this. You're going to love looking back on this. I said, and our tomorrows are never guaranteed. Something could happen to me. Not that any of us hope for that to happen or wish for that to happen, but, and then you're going to be missing me, or you're going to be wishing for those times we had together, and you're going to have episode after episode of countless memories that we made together in these episodes. I said, you'll be glad one day that we did this. So I said, let's just stick with it. And I said, it'll get easier, I promise, but beyond that, one day you're going to be glad we did this.
Oh yeah, big time. And speaking from experience, even like finding like that old 3x5 photo, you know, makes a huge difference. So I know you will.
Yeah. I've only got one photo of me and my dad. And that's literally it, one photo. And we spent countless hours together in the garage. I had a car when I was 14 that we started doing body work on, and all I did was take it apart and put it together for 2 years before I even got my license. But there are no pictures of that whatsoever. I got one picture, I think, when I was 16 or 17. That's the one photo I still have left of the two of us together in the garage in our overalls, because my dad always wore overalls. So I had to wear a set of Dad's overalls so I didn't get my clothes dirty. You know? So we looked like 2 peas in a pod in our overalls there.
Well, I have one more question. It's more about the car.
Okay.
Started doing, it's kind of a dumb thing, but I figured it'd be fun, kind of fun for this channel. But kind of a tactical analysis almost. Like, would you take this car, why or why not, into with what you did in the military? Would you use this car for that? And we've had.
Oh, what my job was in the military?
Yeah. Would you use this? I know, like I know we had the Land Rover or the Range Rover, and was told that it would be torn apart by an IED very, very easily.
Well,
which I tend to agree with on that one.
Yeah. Well, I've seen Humvees torn apart like tin cans, so even Humvees got blown up, and I've witnessed it. So it doesn't matter what you're in. In fact, I've had an IED incident. I can't even say it. I've had an IE incident myself. So.
Don't imagine that's too fun.
No, it's not. No. I'll tell you the part where I would have loved to have his car. It was my 3rd time downrange in Afghanistan in 2008. And because I was the old hat at that point, I'd already been an E7 for a long time. I was the NCOIC, non-commissioned officer in charge. And I'd been overseas several times. We had a lot of new troops with us that hadn't been overseas yet. Every time we had to do a convoy, guess who was always the guy that had to go?
Oh, man.
Because everybody else is afraid to go outside the wire and do deliveries or go to different compounds or FOBs or whatever. Because to drive in Afghanistan meant that you had about a 50-50 chance of getting blown up every single day. And I could have used a fast car like this.
Now you say it like that, yeah.
Like, now driving in downtown Kabul, you get stuck in so much traffic, a fast car does not do you much good. But once I got on the out in the back desert, out through the mountain ranges, we would drive a couple hours at a time, maybe between Kabul and Bagram Air Base, which was a couple hours north, out in the middle of nowhere. I made that convoy, that route many times. You've got to drive fast. Like, you can't slow down at all. And yeah, fast car would have saved your life.
So I think that would do pretty good then, well, at least when you get out, like what you're saying.
Yeah.
So let's say, I have to remember the number. I think we do 1 to 5 on what you would use this. Where would you rank?
Oh, what well.
I think it's 1 to 10 actually. Sorry, 1 to 10.
Would I use this in Afghanistan? I'd give it a 6. Because honestly, getting blown up, it doesn't really matter what you're in. You're not going to likely survive it anyway. Even if you're in a what we call an LAV, a light armored vehicle, or even in an completely up armored Humvee, most of them didn't survive the blast anyway. So it wouldn't have mattered if I was in a Mustang. At least I could have had fun driving.
This is very true. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little. I see why they call it crowd control. But
yeah, let's not do that today.
No. In fact, when I picked it up yesterday, there was a brand new Hellcat at a gas station I stopped at. And I'm just having a little fun. Like, just got it. I was having fun. This guy, I floor it, and I'm like, I have traction control on. Ain't nothing much is gonna happen. And this thing was still all over. I was like,
yeah.
So I can see how I can get away from it. But well, Ken, thank you so much for hanging out and talking and sharing your story and
absolutely
being around. And thank you so much for your service and everything you do since then as well. Because I know you're still working at all of this, Spider Garage, but you're also still working with the veteran community and and working around. I can't even say it right now. The word just slipped my mouth. But I'm sure I'll put it like right here when I figure it out.
I don't even know what I do sometimes.
But thank you so much, and I'm glad you got to hang out. Again,
no problem. Thanks for the ride. It's a great car.
Thanks. I like it. I kind of want to keep it, but I don't think they're going to let me.
No, that's my problem with the rental cars I have too.
I don't think I can afford to either. So, but all right, guys. Well, until next time, take it easy and God bless. Man, that was an awesome story. Just Ken, such a blessing to be able to hang out with him and just to hear his story. I'm so glad you guys got to go along with the ride and get to know him a little bit better. If you guys want to check him out more, check it out right here, Spider Garage, and you guys will not be disappointed by subscribing to his channel. While we're talking about subscribing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that like button if you guys would. Help us out with that. Also, we really would like to partner with you to be able to help get veterans cars that they need. So what we want you to do is go to our website. It's www.dsministries.org. There you're going to find our merch link where you can get cool t-shirts. This isn't one of them. I should be wearing a t-shirt. Whatever. You can get a t-shirt there designed by Imperial Beach Dad. Also, there's a donation link right there. You can click that donation link. All funds goes directly into this project, Vets Cars and Jesus, with the interviews and going out and getting veterans cars that they need to be able to get around. So check it out. Go there, check it out. I can't wait for the next interview. You guys are going to enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, God bless you.